Beautiful Disaster. That's the name of the channel. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to like actually do like an intro thingy, but I have to figure out how to do that first. Anyway, brief video. Yesterday, I think I finally hit my screw it limit. It's a funny thing. So I was reading an article. One of the things that I got asked about, I'm getting ready to do my next widower group. So for those of you who don't watch me frequently, I do a group in the community once a month-ish. And I'm actually thinking maybe doing it a little bit more might not be a bad idea. But for people that are young widow and widowers, so anybody under the age of 60, essentially, because most of the resources that are available pretty much anywhere are for people who are 60 and older, you know, hospice care, people that have been sick for a long time, people that were older, people that passed away from natural causes, things like that. Those are pretty prominent. When it comes to those of us who have lost spouses to illness, those of us who have lost spouses to suicide, to job-related injury, to, you know, whatever the case may be. People die in so many different ways. But for those of us who were left behind earlier than normal, left behind, I shouldn't say that. Those of us who lost a spouse sooner than you normally would, there aren't a whole lot of resources out there. There's not a whole lot of research into what it's like. There isn't a whole lot of there's just not a whole lot of anything, really. I mean, there's nothing stating that there's tons of studies about what happens to people when you're older. You know, you hear about broken heart syndrome and you hear about things like that. One of the things that got brought up, so I asked all of my group members before we do our meeting, is there anything in particular they want to talk about? Is there anything they want research about? Is there anything that they want us to bring to the table to really have a discussion about? And, you know, normally we get the normal topics, like, you know, can we talk about taxes? That's pretty big this time of year. Can we talk about finances? Can we talk about children? Can we talk about not having children? Can we talk about the different kinds of losses that impacted? You know, can we talk about PTSD? Can we talk, you know, the normal things? One of the things that came up this month, and I think because we missed, so I didn't do the meeting for February because literally everybody canceled on me, because it was right before Valentine's Day. But because it was right before Valentine's Day, and we're getting ready to do our next meeting, I think next week, everybody wanted me to talk about dating. So lots of research about dating and getting into relationships and what that kind of looks like for many people. Because when you're younger, I think there's an expectation that you will eventually get with somebody else. And that can weigh very heavy at first. It's one of the things that, like, I love to say that I didn't think about it right away, but people brought it up pretty much right away. Like, literally the day Alex died, people were talking about me dating again. He's been gone for a year and a half. And it's just now getting to the point where I'm like, okay. For some people, it comes a lot earlier. For some people, it comes a lot later. For some people, it never comes. You know, for people that are a little older, and even for those of us who are younger, when you have to deal with all of your side stuff, sometimes the dating game just never becomes a thing again. For me, it's a little bit different because Alex told me he wanted me to date and get married again eventually. Which is just like, but, you know, I think it takes a special kind of person to make that even feel possible. But anyway, so I was reading through all the research, and one of the things that popped out, and one of the things that I didn't realize that I should have known, you know, is the insecurity piece of dating again is huge when it comes to being a widow or being a widower. It's, that part of the expectation is a little bit harder to get around. Cause you'll hear really stupid things, like, which, like with everything else. But one of the things I used to hear a lot right from the get-go, where it was people who are truly happy together, when the other spouse dies and you're younger, it's normal to get into a relationship relatively fast and get married again relatively fast. If you were truly happy together, because you know what it feels like. And literally all of the research I went and looked at yesterday said the same damn thing. You know, we know what love feels like, so we're more apt to get into it again. And it's like, so then you start having these little questions in your head, or at least I did. It's like, okay, well, yeah, the doubt, the self-doubt, and the self-ridicule is intense. And for me, coming from a background where I'm already really, like, super hard on myself, it's like, all right, well, were we really that happy then? Because then I'm not doing what I'm expected to do. So yesterday I'm sitting here reading through all this stuff and I just found myself getting incredibly pissed off. Just incredibly pissed off. It's like, how do you, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my own thing is essentially what it comes down to. Some of it had really good advice, but the rest of it was just like, dating again as somebody who has lost a spouse is a difficult track. It's not an easy thing to do. But what pissed me off the most was that this is coming from other widows and widowers. This isn't coming from people who've never done this before. All of this advice is coming from people who've quote unquote been there. And it was just absolutely ridiculous. It was off the wall ridiculous. For me, what wound up happening was I was sitting here looking through all the stuff and realizing that all of these little insecurities, all these little self-doubts, all these little self-doubting thoughts, all these little you're not good enough thoughts that I have had rolling through my head for the last year and a half were part and parcel to what people have been telling me literally since the day Alex died. Whenever somebody is like, I just don't understand why you don't realize how awesome you are. It's like, well, because, and I can tick stuff off. I mean, I could give you a list. It's like, my personality is somewhat annoying. I worry about people a lot more now than I used to. People's well-being. I don't worry about what people are doing necessarily, but when people get sick or when people aren't, are out doing things and, people that you care about, that gives me anxiety now where it used to a little bit, but not quite this intense. I say weird things. I do weird things. Here's the deal though. There was a time in my life where I realized and lived knowing these things were positives, not negatives. I worked very hard at that. And then the minute Alex died, the society told me that I was broken, that there was something wrong with me, that not getting back into the scene, as it were, meant that something was off about me, to the point where if anybody shows any interest, I'm automatically going, there's always that thing in the back of your head that goes, okay, well, this is it. You say one weird thing, and I'm not like off the wall weird. I'm not like, weird. Not like, I'm not one of those people that you meet in public and you're like, holy crap. But, every now and again, it's like I'll make a witch joke or I'll make a ghost joke or I'll just like have a random thing. And I'm sorry, I'm rubbing at my eyes because I just put my makeup on and it's making my eyes water. Might be a sign. I'm not like weird, but there's always that thing in the back of my head that goes, well, that was it. That was the thing. That was the comment. That was the moment when this whole thing goes out the window. And that doesn't have to be romantically. That's with everybody that I meet. Friends that I'm trying to make, things like that. There's always this moment where I know they're going to realize that one thing about me that bothers me because I've been taught that it should bother me, and it's going to be gone. I'm done. I'm done. I am so 100% done. And I know that it'll flow in and out, and it's like I say I'm done now, and a week from now I'm going to be bawling my eyes out because, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. But it's like, I don't care. I don't care. Like somewhere in the back of my brain, I just do not give a shit anymore. And I think it's actually really good that I was doing that research yesterday because now I know this is normal. This is complete normal bullshit. Do I really have to explain why I worry more about people's well-being now than I used to? No, if I give a shit about somebody, the last time I let my eyes off of somebody and they walked out the door, he died. It's, whenever it's like that kind of a thing, it's hard to explain, but I feel like I shouldn't have to. It makes sense to me. When I'm reading through all this stuff, and one of the pieces of advice they tell people that are getting ready to date somebody who's a widower or widower is, be cognizant of how their spouse died. I don't know that I truly think that's 100% necessary, but being cognizant of the fact that I might be a little bit more cautious about people's well-being than I used to be, I was a mother hen already anyway. It's just slightly worse now. And I don't push it on people either. It's just like, my thing with my friendships and everything has always been, I'm not going to push my bullshit on you. It's just, you know, if you could send me a text and let me know you're okay, that would be great. But, you know, that's just who I am. And I'm really tired of feeling like what and who I am isn't a good thing. Because it used to be that I had no problem with this. It's like I put up on my Instagram, I put a picture up yesterday, and it's like, I'm just done. I am so done. Insecurity and everything is part and parcel to being human. I understand that. But I am done thinking that what's in here isn't, and in here for that matter, isn't good enough. It is. The people in my life who I have chosen to surround myself with, who love me and who know me and who are getting to know me or whatever, that's where I need to learn to focus. Because it's like, yeah, I'm still going to have doubts. I don't think that's ever going to go away. Maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe this is that path. But, I don't know. I know who and what I am. I know who and what I can do. Who I can do. That was a little bit of a slip up. Sorry. Not who and what I mean what I can do. But I understand what I'm worth. And other people not recognizing it has nothing to do with me. What other people think of me is none of my business. That used to be my motto, and I don't know when I lost it, but I'm sick of it. I genuinely don't care. If people are in my life and they want to be there, that's great. And I want them to be there, that's great. I will fight for the people that I care about. Absolutely. 100%. That's why this is here. See? It's not just because Alex was a warrior. I think that's one of the things people get wrong. I didn't get a sword on my arm purely because Alex fought for his life and I thought this would be a good representation. It's because I have been fighting my entire life for my own life. It's taken some time and I might not have had any like near-death experiences, but when it comes to being comfortable with who I am and where I'm at, that's been a lifelong struggle. And I get it. I'm 32. I still haven't 100% figured it out, but I'm real fucking sick of having to deal with my own bullshit. And it's funny, since yesterday, I have felt so much better. Like, I was having a little bit of an issue with feeling like super depressed. It's gone now. It's like, I mean, maybe not gone, but it's not all up in my face, which is a good thing. I don't know. The minute I let it go, I felt 100% better. So, I'm done. If people get all weirded out by something that I do or I say, I would hope that we're all adults about it and they would have the balls to say something. Most of the people in my life do, I think. Most of the people in my life are pretty good about, hey, Sarah, that was a little bit, but, or what did you mean by that? Or, you know, whatever. Clarification is always a good thing and communicating appropriately, but, I'm done. And whoever this is, the person I'm becoming is still me. I mean, at the core, it's still me. And I don't think anything has really changed that much. It's just been a journey. And I'm at that point in my journey right now where I'm starting to see things a lot different. If you'd asked me a year and a half ago what I was going to do with the rest of my life, I would have told you I had no fucking clue. I still don't in a lot of ways, but I'm starting to see future again, which is weird, but this is part of it. I do not want to go through the rest of my life feeling like I have to make up to everyone around me because of who I am. That's how I've spent the entirety of my life. Sorry, I need to take a drink, but I have a tickle in my throat, but but I'm not doing it anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it's a funny, weird thing, but wherever this is going, wherever my life is going, I think I'm finally taking the reins back, and people are just going to have to deal with it. So, if you're in my life, and I enjoy having you in my life, this probably isn't coming as a big surprise, because this is just me. So, but if If not, whatever it is that comes next, I'm cool with it. I am done basing my worth on other people's opinions. So you're gonna have to deal with me being really fucking awesome, because that's how I've been my whole life. I don't sparkle and shine like other princesses, but it's funny because my mom was having a conversation the other day with somebody at the grocery store about how I was like her biggest tomboy as a kid growing up, and it's still true. But this personality has always been there. This personality is the one where people are like, oh my God, you walk into a room and you fill it with, whatever it is people usually say. I think my friend Rachel said that she's like, you fill a room with light as soon as you get in there. And that is something that even I can't take away from myself. So I'm done. Have a good rest of your day, guys. Bye.